I should never say it's a good signal because it's always the sign for degradation in the whole thing. But anyway, I'm assuming that you are copying me okay, and good morning to everybody that has joined us on frequency. This is Gulf Harbour Radio. We're starting a little bit earlier with the way that the sun is coming south and changing propagation timing a little bit for 8 megahertz. This is Patricia and David, ZMH286, and we have had a rather stimulating weekend weather-wise. Very interesting weather with the fronts passing through, dumping even a bit of hail last night. But it is all good today. Chilly though, back to cooler temperatures, 16 degrees, about 4 knots of nor-northwest at the moment. And the barometer is rocketing up. It's up to 999.2. I think I put 7 on the thing there, but I couldn't read my own writing. But it is rocketing up, so it's probably 999.7. It was pretty low yesterday, and it's about 25% scattered cloud, a bit to the north and west, but not too bad at all at the moment. But certainly our weekend was a bit, well, it was interesting. We have no complaints because we actually managed to continue with our shooting sport. We had one really bad downpour on Saturday that we couldn't move outside of our shooting positions, but apart from that, we just snuck in yesterday too before torrential rain in Auckland. The roads were quite flooded going home. A new road too. You'd think that they would, in knowing in a particular area north of the bridge that it floods quite frequently, the new road still floods. You'd think they would have put in some drainage systems, wouldn't you? You do have to wonder who's in charge of our roading system. Anyway, I have given a call. There doesn't seem to be anyone wanting to call in at the moment, but I will give a call again in a few minutes' time. We've got reasonably good conditions today. No noise, not too much noise in the neighbourhood. It is Armistice Day, and for Americans, it's Veterans Day. Good morning to my veteran here. And of course, they're celebrating various other things that happened at this particular time. 75 years since some very notable battles in Europe in 1944, Casino and others. So it is quite an important day for anyone who has served or has family and friends who have served. So I hope you all do a little spot of remembering those that went before us and did their bit for our freedom. This morning was also quite important. I don't know whether anybody looked towards the sun, but it is the day that Mercury passed between the sun and Earth. The transit of Mercury was on this morning in New Zealand about between 7 and 8. And I'm not sure whether that was new time or standard time. Needless to say, I didn't think about it until I got here with the microphone in my hand. But it is the transit of Mercury today. Some of our skies aren't all that clear because we're starting to get the evidence of the very grim fires in New South Wales and Queensland. Very red haze in our skies down south, in particular in the Canterbury area. They're really, really bad. 3 dead so far. About 150 homes have been lost. Mr. Prime Minister Scott Morrison says that the military could be drafted in to support the firefighters. There are just an awful lot of fires, and this week is going to be really bad with temperatures getting back into the 30s. They've had a bit of respite over the weekend, but there are still 36 fires in New South Wales not under control and 62 active fires in Queensland, so just not very good at all. Which reminds me, Tuaki is on his way down from the Louisiade. We'll give you a call shortly, Tony. A bit of news for you as well from Townsville. Talking about fires, we have had fireworks time in New Zealand, which is quite controversial now. They have been banned in Australia, obviously a very necessary thing with the problem with the drought and the fires, but they're still available for New Zealanders. Very short period of sailing, but they can still be bought. And of course they do make a bit of nuisance in urban areas. So it's been and gone, a bit of a low-key affair this year. Actually, usually around that time we get the noise every night, but so far it's been quite civilised.
They got drenched last night.
They got drenched last night, yes. The Berlin Wall fell 30 years ago, and there has been a bit of celebration there with fireworks, actually, to mark that rather momentous occasion. So that's been quite a thing over there in Germany. What else is there? There was an interesting article. You know, you think it's the Muslim world where women have absolutely no rights at all, but in Japan, they are now having a bit of a backlash over various companies that won't let women wear glasses. Female staff are not allowed to wear glasses, and in fact they have to wear high-heeled shoes as part of their decorum requirements. So I don't really know how people get on that need glasses, and certainly the Asians don't have any better eyesight than anywhere else. So, but that's one of the things that we don't know about that society. Usually on a Monday I go through a few sporting type things, but there's not actually an awful lot on at the moment. However, Lisa Adams, she is the sister of Valerie Adams, and is who is most of you will know, our double Olympic champion with a shot put. But Lisa Adams, her sister, who suffers from cerebral palsy, was in the Paraplegic Olympics, which are on in Dubai at the moment. Well, the World Paralympics Championships. It's not the Olympics, but anyway, that's on in Dubai. And she threw a 14.8 metre shot. It's a world record to win the F37 shot put gold. So I don't think I could, with no problems at all, she throw the damn thing 14.8 metres. So that's rather good. Mind you, she has probably one of the best coaches in the world with her sister Valerie there. Motorsport, a big event yesterday with the DSR team Pence Kiwi Scott McLaughlin finishing midfield actually at Sandon in Australia to clinch the supercar title. There is another event in a couple of weeks at Newcastle, but he's now got sufficient points to know that he is the new supercar championship title winner. This is quite important down under for you folk who wonder why we concentrate on supercars, but here in New Zealand we don't have any Formula One racing. There is one in Melbourne in the earlier part of next year, but we don't have any in New Zealand, and the supercars are really an important event. What was interesting to me, I just watch it digitally, but it was about 60, Sandon is about 60 miles west of Melbourne, and it was only 14 degrees, 14 to 15. They really, really had a cool weekend, which I'm sure was appreciated further north. But anyway, so Jamie Whincup and Craig Lowndes won it. Van Gisbergen was in second. Well, he was in the lead until quite near the end. He had a late pit stop. And then his Commodore right rear wheel departed the scene. So I'm sure there's a bit of to-do-ment there in the team. But anyway, they've got one race left in Newcastle in a couple of weeks. What else was there? Oh, the 2020 cricket. That was played in Auckland, which was a bit of a pain because of the weather. It started late, and so they reduced 20 overs to 11 overs. And again, it's just absolutely amazing how, with these sorts of things, New Zealand batted first and got 146 for 7 down, and then England got 146 for 7 down. So they played one of these super showdown overs, and we all know about that from the last event between England and New Zealand. And England won that quite convincingly. They got 17 runs, and New Zealand got 8. So that was what happened in the rain, and I don't know whether they got lightning and thunder and hail there, but it certainly wasn't a very good time for playing a game of cricket. All right, let's have a look at what's happening. I can see from the Pilgrim email, it's a beautiful day, talking to Andrew as well, up there in Port Vila. We know there are people poised and ready to roll all over the South Pacific. And David, I'm sure, has got some really good news on that score. So everything has gone according to Hoyle, whoever Hoyle was. But in Port Vila at the moment, 24 degrees, somewhat warmer than here, 1011, in a very light, calm southeasterly. Good morning to you all in Minerva. I think there's another big mob there. Good news for you as well. Cetaceans in Denarau, no wind there, but a rainy, cloudy day. And I see that the best place to be this morning is New Caledonia and Vanuatu, because everything's moved off to Fiji and Tonga, which will slow things down there, certainly today. But it's a holiday in Fiji today, Mohammed's Day. It's holidays everywhere, Veterans Day, Armistice Day, Mohammed's Day in Fiji, wow. And Denarau is 100% cloud cover and raining, so hopefully everyone has got time to do the last minute putting away, securing everything in the boat. So that's where things are at the moment. I'm just going to give a call to Tuaki, Gulf Harbour. Can anybody copy Tuaki? Because I've got nothing here. Okay, anybody on passage, please call. No, nothing heard. So hopefully everybody can copy us. I won't ask for a report because I know you're all pretty slow at doing that. I wouldn't mind hearing what the conditions are in Minerva, if there's anybody in Minerva. Trophy, but could somebody from Minerva say hello and tell us and confirm that? Over. Well, nobody listening in Minerva. Well, that will chop out a good paragraph of reporting for David. Okay, that's about it from me. I was disappointed to hear we had a couple of comments about the customs services, both in Fiji and New Zealand over the weekend. Fiji decided to make sure it was a very good long 3-day weekend in the western side there, and didn't bother even coming to check anybody out with the late fee. So that was interesting, but I was a bit disappointed in New Zealand to hear that a boat that had booked in for 4 o'clock on Friday experienced the same sort of service. Because he was the only one coming in, they decided to go home early on Friday from Opua. So not very good, really, when you think of what we used to have. We used to be able to come in at all hours of the day and night, and there they would be to take your lines. But so much for the millennials. We've got a little bit of discussion in New Zealand between boomers and millennials, and it seems that the millennials,
the Me Too
generation has a different way of doing things. Okay, well, I don't think there's anybody else. I will just do a pause and then we're going to start. There's quite a lot of weather to cover this morning to get you all moving. Is there anybody wanting to give a report or check in? Please call now. Oh, there is somebody there. It's not all that clear. I think it was a lady's voice. Go ahead again. Oh, thank you very much from Minerva. Go ahead and tell us what you're experiencing at the moment. Okay, I got a little bit of that, but it sounds like it's pretty much like we're looking at on the satellite picture. Hopefully everybody... What is the wind speed? Could you repeat the wind speed, over? Okay, so 10 to 15, but it has been gusting up to 20 over the last 24 hours. So that seems to be about normal to expect in that troughing condition. Thank you very much for that. I think David has another question.
No, she said trophy conditions.
Trophy conditions, yep. All right, thank you for that. And all right, so we'll be going on to the weather now. Valak and Denera reported some spectacular squalls over the weekend too, with lots of rain, thunder and lightning. It might have been more spectacular up there than here. So, all right, folks, but at least there's light at the end of the tunnel, and quite pleased to hear from David this morning that everything for the arrival day is still pretty much on schedule. So here he is, and we'll take anybody else later.
All right, thank you, Patricia, and good morning to everyone. And as Patricia said, there's been quite a bit of weather about the weekend here, that's for sure. Newcastle and Fiji pretty wet with troughing, and New Zealand has totally been drenched. Wind, the obvious rain. Didn't get a whole lot in the thunderstorm activity. I thought we'd get more. Anyway, the synoptic picture shows a high to the east of New Zealand. That's our high we were entertaining on Friday. So that's to the east now. And then we have another high, an oncoming high, that's over southern Queensland. And that will be coming this way shortly. In between, nothing but lows, fronts, and troughs, I'm afraid. We've got a number of yachts that are approaching New Zealand. And I hope you all remember the forecast on Friday. And that was for frontal bands crossing the country through Monday and Tuesday. And so far, the forecast is correct. The weather for the following few days is going to see northwest winds today, 20, maybe getting up to 25, changing southwest 20 to 25, gusting 35. The sea is rough out there, and the visibility will be poor whenever we have periods of heavy rain. And as I said, thunderstorms are expected. Haven't had them here, but up to the north could very well be. And this, by the way, is for the Opua area. In other words, North Cape all the way down to Cape Brett. Now, Tuesday, tomorrow, you could expect southwest 25 to 30, and they will be easing as the day progresses, and will be showers, but we expect those to clear eventually tomorrow as well. Now, Wednesday is really the day to enter the Bay of Islands. Northwest winds in the 15 knot range, so most of the really, really bad weather will have moved on. Wednesday's a pretty good one for coming in. Actually, we forecasted this, and surprisingly, it's holding true. We talked about this last week, Wednesday being the good day, and sure enough, it's happening. It's great. Thursday, looking at Thursday now, northwest winds rising to 20, and there'll be periods of rain as yet another front is going to pass through the area. So it's that one day right in there, that Wednesday period, is just a good day to slip in if your timing is such. Now, over the cruising routes by lunch today, we'll encounter a trough arcing up to Fiji, and I would say that's followed by two cold fronts, and we have a very small low that's circulating over the tip of the North Island here of New Zealand. Now, that Fiji trough that we talked about takes in Tonga as well, and another frontal band crosses Norfolk Island at the same time. So, like I said, there is a lot of weather to contend with out there. Now, the Minerva Reef gets the good news. It's kind of a pun. They're getting trough conditions there, as pretty much an active band is crossing through the area. That's the same trough that's affecting Tonga and Fiji. Arrival New Zealand now for the boats that are underway. Looking decent right into Sunday the 17th for you Minervans. That's a 4 to 5 day voyage, depending, of course, on how fast you're going. So leaving there, probably tomorrow would do it. You'll have southerly quadrant winds. They're annoying. That's a bit of a shame, but the winds are going to back, however, so improvement is certainly in the cards for that trip down to New Zealand. Now, arrival for other yachts up in the islands, we're still looking at Tuesday the 19th, Wednesday the 20th, right in there. That's fantastic. Northwest winds preceding frontal activity, and the depression itself is nearing New Zealand, just about onto New Zealand, more to the south part of the country. Now, this would mean a departure up in the islands roughly tomorrow, maybe Wednesday of this week. Tuesday departure weather is not particularly great in the sense that we still have the trough for both Fiji and Tonga, and there are southerly winds for New Caledonia. Now, Wednesday does show a better departure date, but you do want to pay attention to the arrival. Now, very, very long-term arrivals, I'm looking at Tuesday the 26th. That shows some promise. Now, the departure date for that would be about the 15th, Friday the 15th of this week. So there you go, the 15th to the 26th. If the models hold true, which that's a pretty long way out, so we shouldn't put a huge amount of faith in that. But that's an idea for you, leaving late Friday, arriving Tuesday, roughly the 26th. Anyway, that's the story there. Now, as you can see, there are a number of decent arrival dates and decent departure dates, and sooner or later you're going to have to bite the bullet and take one of them. Departure from New Cal to say Bundaberg this week, that could be done with the arrival, say Saturday or Sunday, or if you don't want the charges, I suppose Monday. You'll see northwest winds as your arrival. Fresh, I'd say 20, maybe 20, 25 knots. It might even be gusts up to 30, so quite breezy on arrival then. And that high that we've talked about, that's going to be providing those winds. Now, the cruising routes are basically going to be dominated by this high. We'll call it a big fat high because it is big and fat. And we obviously are going to have fresh winds on the perimeter, so that's why you're seeing forecasts of fairly fresh winds this week. Now, a few yachts are trying to get from Fiji to Vanuatu or New Cal, either place. This trip is also going to be dominated by the big fat high. The wind directions are going to be okay, but again, fresh, especially this coming Saturday and Sunday, which would be your arrival date. Nothing to really worry about as of today's runs, just a fair bit of wind, good direction though, so it'll be a reasonably quick trip. Now, those of you also in New Caledonia trying to head for New Zealand, a decent arrival date for you folks, Monday the 18th, maybe 19th, northwest winds preceding a frontal band and that depression that we talked about a minute ago. If you're very slow or you're delayed in leaving altogether, on or about the 20th might be reasonable for arriving as well. Again, northwest winds are going to dominate as the next depression moves near and over New Zealand, as the ridge that was over New Zealand is going to depart. So that's the story later on. So again, to repeat ourselves, this last part of November offers quite a number of passage opportunities. Pretty soon you're going to be in December, and well, I suppose Christmas under a palm tree. Yeah, well, that could happen, and some of you actually do that. Now, lastly, we'll take a quick peek at the islands themselves. Tonga is enjoying, well, they're enjoying prefrontal weather, fun. And as that trough does roll over the country, you would expect more and more cloud and showers, and that will include a thunderstorm or two coming over the group. Now, this should continue tomorrow as well, so you can expect northeast winds in the 15-knot range, And tomorrow, north-northeast to northeast, and we should see some directional convergence on Tuesday as well. Southeast winds towards the south, they're going to be arriving around dinner time, and they'll be clashing with the northeast winds. So that is going to aid and abet the trough that's there. And over to Fiji, still under the influence of that extended trough, and we've had that over the last few days there. So expect the usual showers, scattered thunderstorms today and tomorrow. There'll be a clash of winds today north to northeast for the Lau, northwest in the Koro Sea to the Asauas, the southern area of the Asauas, and then further north we could be looking at northwest winds. So Tuesday, variable all over the place on Tuesday, southeast, east, northerlies, all over. Actually quite light air, so it's not going to be too bad. While the winds are from all directions, it seems they'll be fairly light. In Vanuatu now, it looks pretty decent on imagery, mostly fine, just a few scattered clouds. Chilly temperatures in the evening. The winds today, southeast in the 15 knot range, maybe 15 to 20 a little bit later on this afternoon. Tomorrow, southeast about 15 to 20. And over to New Caledonia, that looks fine on imagery, some scattered cloud, but not bad at all. Tuesday, mostly sunny. I'd say southerlies 8 to 10 knots. And tomorrow, southeast, also 8 to 10 knots. Very nice conditions, really. Now, you're at a reef early this morning. Southerlies 8 to 17. It's some pretty fresh gusts there on the outer reef. Ile de Pan, southerlies 3 to 7 knots. And Noumea was southwest 4 to 7. So not much air there at all. And your barometric pressure for the Noumea area, 1014.1. So that's the story for the weather on this Monday, looking at Monday and Tuesday. So I would suspect a lot of you are getting ready to roll. May not get away today because of the holiday, but possibly tomorrow for you. So we'll be back, take a look at all of this again, see what's changed, and go from there. And here's the chief.
And I was doing something on the computer. What about the guys at Minerva? They don't have a Mohammed's holiday. When can they go?
Gave it.
You go, no, you gave that, but can you tell me what it was? All right. There have been a couple of reports come in, folks. Fusio, you were wondering whether they were coming. There was one previous, but your one about an hour ago, it's just come through actually. Fusio and Shimata left New Caledonia. Shimata jumped the gun a little bit. They now are at 2647171 east with 17 knots of southwest wind. And Fusio are at 2723 and 16847 with 19 to 25 west northwest. So a bit of a change there in a bit of a trophy. It says cloudy, no rain though. No rain. 2 to 3 metres swell from Fusio, 1.5 metres swell from the west from Shimata. So thank you for that report, folks. I think there'll be a few more leaving shortly. Is there anybody wanting to check in? I've got a report from Marsden Cove. Whistler said that there was an amazing display of lightning and thunder there, but not sure what time it was. So 35 knots of wind, so I bet they were pleased to be tied up at the dock. Anybody with anything, please call. Well, I'm not hearing anything. I know I heard Andrew before. If you're still there, Andrew, could you put out a call to see if there's anybody wanting to check in? I've got Tuaki on their way from the Louisiades, and he wanted to call in, but I can't copy him. Over. Well, nothing heard from iCandy either. All right, folks, if there's nothing more, we'll leave you all to your preparation for departure, and we will be back again tomorrow morning. Cheers, everybody. This is Gold Harbour Radio Clear. So, good show.